Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie at Growfolds, and today we'll be big box store plant shopping at the Home Depot off of Custer Road in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting that like button for my video, as well as following me on Instagram at Growfolds. Please also subscribe to my channel with the notification bells on if you are interested in 1 hour plant shopping videos that I will premiere daily at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. But as we go to on a Tuesday morning, I wanted to go ahead and check out this Home Depot. This is a Home Depot I often frequent. It's a Home Depot that is close to where I am based at. It's about a 5 to 10 minute radius of where I'm based at. So I figured I'd stop by to see what kind of plants that this Home Depot has. I have been featuring a lot of outdoor gardening plants. I will try to feature as many, indoor tropical plants. But as you can see at all big box stores, they have this Rio Mandevilla setup. And then we're going to walk over here. And I haven't really taken the time to really look at the plants that are actually inside a Home Depot. Most of them are already out in the outdoor space. But as you can see right here, we've got a bunch of kalanchoe, flowering kalanchoe right over here. Love the kalanchoe flower. I didn't realize it was a succulent, but it is. And you can see right here, this is for $10.98 in a ceramic planter. Love the blooms on this one. I've got that peach pink bloom about it. Now this particular plant does need light, a lot of light actually, because it is a succulent plant. And then as I pan over here, we've seen a bunch of anthuriums and we have a bunch of bromeliads. So bromeliads are readily available everywhere. This one is for $14.98. And for my plant foldies, for those that are new to this channel, I call my viewers and subscribers plant foldies. Welcome to the channel. Let me know what you think about bromeliads. I have been really paying attention to bromeliads, like this one right here, also for $18.98. Beautiful bromeliad. I like that pink and like all of the striping coloration on this. You can see that there's some gradation of lavender as well. Beautiful plant. It's a slower growing plant, but for me, I have one actual bromeliad and it has been doing very well for me. I got it on clearance for $2.45 at Kroger grocery store. But you can see right here, this one is actually shooting up new babies that you can possibly cut and separate from the mother plant. So there's actually 3 plants in one. This one is also for $18.98. Whenever you go big box store plant shopping, it's just really interesting to be able to take care of some of these plants. Really like the look of these plants. Bromeliads, it is a common plant that you will find at any big box store. You can also find them at local grocery stores that sell plants, as well as local plant nurseries. And I have been featuring a lot of local plant nurseries in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. I am based out in North Dallas, so a lot of my plant shopping videos are going to be mostly in the North Dallas area. So if you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, please subscribe to my channel if you want to stay up to date with these plants that are being released in our current market, just because I am literally in a big box store, a local plant nursery daily, just filming plant content so I can actually premiere that daily. It is my my goal to really just have this community grow. I love the fact that a lot of you guys have actually taken the time out of your evenings to go chat with me for at least an hour at 7 p.m. And this isn't any different. So if you are new to this channel and you're watching this video for the first time during a live premiere, please say hello. We've got a very welcoming plant foldy community. It's actually grown quite a bit in the last month, and I love the trajectory that this channel is going. As always, the likes that you guys hit this video with, it really, and when I say really, helps the channel out, as well as leaving comments at the end of the video or at the end of the premiere, or you can even comment live time if you want. You can do timestamps of like what specific plants you like, but you can see these are plants that I picked up, these anthuriums, these blooming anthuriums. I have that chocolate looking one right there with that dark bloom. Really cool anthurium. I'm looking for a variegated anthurium flower, the shibori one, but that's almost like $200. So I've got to see if the pricing will go down. And again, with plant pricing, as I've done a lot of plant shopping videos, you just have to wait for plants to get a little bit more readily available. The plant pricing will decrease. I will say that these bromeliads, though, are beautiful. To go with that, I think bromeliads have like a stable price. Typically you'll find them for about $14 up to $25. But I remember going to a local plant nursery called North Haven Gardens that had some more uncommon and rare bromeliads. You can see this is the Miracle Grow tropical potting mix. I don't really use a lot of Miracle Grow products, but some people might be into that. I tend to make my own little mixture for my potting soils. I like it to be a little bit more chunky, but this one's $29.98 in a 6-inch starter planter. You can see that that's a pretty big bromeliad, and you can see that bromeliads come in so many different varieties. I love the pink, like this one right here is so beautiful. Love that a lot. And I actually did a short reel on pink plants and bromeliads specifically on my Instagram. So if you have an Instagram or you don't have an Instagram and you want to follow me, please do. My Instagram name is @growfolds, and again, I post a lot of other content outside of YouTube there about plants, so definitely check that out. But with these bromeliads, let me know in the comments, plant foldies, or anybody watching, what you think about bromeliads. Is that something that you grow in your collection? Just because I don't really see a lot of people talking about bromeliads in their plant collection. You know, I've watched a lot of like plant YouTubers, and I never really see a lot of like bromeliads during like a house plant tour. So I don't know if it's just a plant that's not really popular, or if it's one of those plants that, you know, maybe just businesses use for decoration. I do find them interesting. I don't really like the flowering ones like this. I prefer the ones with the beautiful pink foliage. I love pink plants, and you can see we're gonna go ahead and walk outside into the outdoor section. So what they do is during the spring and summer, at least at this Home Depot, they'll bring out their plants that are really meant to be grown indoors. So you can see that this is a Vigoro hanging basket fixture. You'll always see Vigoro plants at Home Depot. That's the one plant nursery that sources a lot of their plants. And you also will see a lot of smart plants for home. These ones are apparently a Home Depot exclusive. So we'll look at all of these hanging baskets right over here. I do love this rainbow elephant bush hanging basket. It is a nice variegated succulent. This one is for $12.98. I love these smart plants releases of all of these different types of succulents. You know, I'm starting to get into succulents slowly but surely. I'm adding it to my collection, but as I've said in many of my videos on a daily basis, I really want to make sure that I have time to take care of my plants. I have been able to catch up on a couple of my plant chores, balancing my personal life. You know, I have a very demanding job that I work at least a minimum of 10 hours. I'm a salaried manager, so that can be a little bit tricky. Luckily for this weekend, I am off, and I'll be able to do some outdoor gardening, catch up on my plant room. You know, I've neglected some of my plants there. I do want to show you this one though, right here. This is another plant right here. This is it's another crassula, some type of jade plant for $12.98. You can see that there is some variegation as well. And I know plant foldies, especially my plant foldie, who is super loyal from Canada. Hello, Kathy. We always look for you at the live premiere chats. I hope you are enjoying my videos. I think of you often whenever I look at succulents, so I try to take a little bit more time to show you more. This one is a zigzag rickrack cactus for $12.98. Really cool looking cactus. And again, with cactus and succulents, the common denominator or one feature that you need to make sure for their plant care is that you need to provide a lot of light, full sun if possible, bright light. Grow them under a grow light if you're going to be growing them indoors, or you need to make sure that they are facing a south facing window. That is imperative for them to really do well. And then you can see there's just a lot of different types of cactus and succulents. And again, plant foldies, for those that have viewed my videos daily, I will say there hasn't been a lot of traction or video viewership in the last couple days. I don't know if YouTube has just not pushed my videos. Hopefully you guys haven't lost interest in me talking about plants. As you know, I will try to make these 1-hour plant shopping videos daily. I really enjoy the chats that we have. And you know, for further news, I will be featuring some more local plant nurseries. So I did visit Green Acres again, but I specifically did the outdoor section. I peppered in a little bit of their indoor section. So if you haven't already, please make sure you check out my Green Acres local plant shop video. That is about an hour and a half where I feature an indoor section. It's the Green Acres that just recently opened in Melissa, Texas, which is North Dallas. It's a really nice local plant nursery. They have been super kind. I actually got to meet one of their social media managers, their media managers today when I visited, and they gifted me with an awesome gift card just to really thank me for my efforts for my plant shopping. So I thought that was super cool. And you can see right here, Plant Find. This is a variegated string of hearts for $12.98. I'll say that this variegated string of hearts is not nearly as full or trailing as some of the ones I've found at Lowe's. and Walmart. So the Home Depot one, this one isn't as full. You can see that there is a bunch of new growth coming around, so there is hope for it. I am confident in growing variegated string of hearts. I didn't realize that it was super easy to grow them. Like literally, they are such a vigorous grower, and I am curious to actually get them to propagate. I do love the variegation of this particular succulent, and the fact that it is a vigorous grower, especially for a succulent plant, is a plus. You know, there are certain criterias that I have for plants that I gravitate to, or I would say I prefer, and that would be, you know, fast growing and vigorous, low light tolerant if possible, and drought tolerant, and, you know, which makes them all very easy to care for plants. I think that that's really the realm of what makes a plant easy care for, is when it doesn't really require a lot of light and it can be drought tolerant. For me specifically, since I am an underwaterer, meaning I don't really water my plants as frequently as they need to be, which has been the demise of my plant collection, just because I have really had them decline in some health. I am rehabilitating some of them. I have been a bad plant parent, but you know, plant folies, let me know in the comments section in this video if you have also been a neglectful plant parent. You know, what causes you to be a neglectful plant parent? For me, it's really life and just being able to balance things. I like to be on the go. I like to continue to make these videos, and I have that tenacity to really want to show you guys a lot of these plants. Like that's a Philodendron Hederaceum Brazil, 1998. This is a beautiful Epipremnum Aria Marble Queen Pothos. Love the variegation. It's quite variegated actually. There is a little bit of browning on the leaves, but that's because it is highly variegated. It might have been exposed to too much light, but that one is by Vigoro Plants for 1998. So you can always go to Home Depot if you want to get a hanging basket, and typically hanging baskets should range between $12.99 up to like $29.99 for these 6-inch hanging baskets. I've seen them as inexpensive as $12.99 at a grocery store, but typically you'll pay about $19.98. On the higher end, or perhaps even at a local plant nursery, they may be charging $26.99 or $29.99. You shouldn't pay more than that though for a hanging basket that's in a 6-inch planter. Over here is a Pilea peperonoides. Beautiful plant. It's a plant that shoots up a lot of little babies, so you can actually separate from the mother plant. And you can see right here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is quite interesting. That's pretty cool. So I really like that. This is another plant that it gives you free plants. And again, I am a proponent of one that wants to save money on plants. You know, plant shopping, collecting plants, and just really growing a collection can get costly. And I'll say I have gone broke, but my plant budget has kind of increased just because of y'all's support on YouTube. So I really appreciate you guys. Just your viewership alone and your engagement. I know some of my plant folies, even during the live premiere chats, have really encouraged people to hit the like button. So I appreciate that. You know, I worked quite diligently and very hard to produce a video. Somebody asked me what that process looks like. Total process to create one video that will premiere daily is about a 5-hour process, from, you know, filming for an hour, then doing the voiceover for an hour, editing the video, putting the subtitles, saving the video, and uploading. So it is quite a tedious task, but you know, it has become literally a part of my daily routine. It's part of my life. It's one of those venues where I think YouTube for me, doing these plant shopping videos has become more of a hobby, and just really a good way for me to relax, because I love to talk. Can you tell I love to talk? Yes, you can tell that I love to talk, and I love to talk about plants. I love plants, and it's just so cool that all of our plant folies continue to be excited about it. So I want to walk over here and show you all of these H2O Leaf Joy bowls. This is a Snowy Morning Epipremnum Aureum. Now this is basically 1998 in a self-watering hydroponic situation. So basically the roots are just growing in water. This is basically a Marble Queen Pothos, but with proven winners, they tend to rename some of their plants or call their plants or their hybrids a different name. I'm totally fine with that, because Proven Winners has some amazing winner plants. Like literally, they are proven winners. A lot of their plants are typically hybridized. They have their own hybrids. They really cultivate some really good genetics for certain plants. And I love that they've been able to get a lot of different types of caladiums, a lot of different types of Hoyas, and I am for it. So I'm a big fan of Proven Winners. Typically, you'll see a lot of Proven Winner plants at Home Depot. Depot more so than I would say Lowe's. I don't know if Lowe's really gets Home Depot proven winter plants or if it's more of like a Home Depot exclusive, but you can see here, this is a Ficus altissima. The green on green variegation is cool. It looks like some of the soil is gone. And then this is an Alocasia cuculata for $29.98. So a couple weeks, months back, I was able to find a variegated sport Alocasia cuculata. I bought two of them, and they have been growing outdoors. So the trick about growing Alocasia, for me at least, is it's a lot easier to grow them outdoors in a shaded patio area. I'm able to water them and give them the consistent watering because it's easier to just take a hose and water my plants versus taking a watering can and individually watering them indoors. And just the ambient humidity, just the outdoor space, and also the natural pest predators that will get rid of spider mites, they all exist outside. And that's what makes me a little bit more successful when I'm growing Alocasia or plants that are a little bit more tricky. This is a beautiful Monstera Deliciosa. I'm glad that the two Monstera Deliciosa that I repotted in 12-inch planters are doing extremely well. They've already pushed out a new leaf, and I have both of them on a wooden plank, so it's going to have a little bit more support in order to really grow larger. And I want to really see that, just the green varieties of Monstera are just as beautiful, I would say, as compared to the variegated Monsteras. And you can see here, we've got a Burley Marxii Thinanthe. Cool hydroponic situation, again, with Thinanthes, Calatheas, prayer plants, Maranthas, Stromanthes, all of those types of plants that are a little bit more finicky in terms of they need to be consistently moist with their soil. Grow them in water, grow them in hydroponics. Basically take the soil, wash the soil away, stick it in water. It may decline a little bit in health because the roots have to acclimate and become water roots, but I have not had any issues with my Calatheas that are just growing in water because they're constantly watered, and then that actual ambient humidity just around that standing water keeps the plant healthy. All you have to do is make sure you put it in a bright indirect light situation and you're good to go. And then I'm just pulling more of these Leaf Joy H2O water hydroponic situations. Like this one is a really sad philodendron ring of fire. I mean, it's basically grasping at life at this point. It looks like something happened to where a lot of the leaves kind of like rotted away. That's the thing about Home Depot. I just wish that Home Depot, rather than to just like pay, sell their plants at full price, perhaps they could just clearance them out. Because you got to think, say if this plant right here, this Syngonium, for instance, I will call this a Syngonium confetti, even milk confetti or confetti. When the plant declines its health, it's going to end up in the trash. So not only do you have some organic matter that decomposes, but then you have the cork and also the glass. It just becomes more trash. And then when you think about the amount of plants that actually die or become trash at a big box store on a daily basis, that's quite a bit of trash. And I don't want to go on a full discussion about how that leaves a carbon footprint. There's a lot of pollution that gets created from just throwing away plants because of the plastic we use for the containers. So I just want people to think a little bit about that. Plants are great. It's a natural, beautiful thing to be able to grow plants, but then the amount of production it takes, it's actually really interesting that some people really don't think about that, the trash that's created from plants that end up dying at a big box store. So for me, I hope that Home Depot would consider doing clearance or at least marking some of their plants down. I know that some plant parents will rescue plants, but you can see here, I have pulled up a lot of these different types of hydroponic growing situations here, the Leaf Joy H2O bowls. I think they're a really cool concept. I have two. I have the, actually I only have one because the other one that I bought, it was a cordyline tea plant. I ended up just planting it in soil because I wanted it to grow a little bit larger, and I figured, growing something hydroponics, they're not as fast growing. I think it's because they don't get nearly as much nutrients. And some people say that when you're growing plants like hydroponically, you have to have a certain type of plant food in there. Honestly, I just use a little bit of Trace Miracle Grow, just a little dab of Miracle Grow, mix it in the water, and I feel like that feeds amongst the plants. So let me know in the comments if that is an effective way to do it. I haven't had any issues with my plants. They've actually been doing very well, the ones that have been growing in water. I'm currently growing aglaonemas, anthuriums in water, and obviously calatheas, and they've been doing very well for me. That's a really cool philodendron right here too. I like that a lot. And then this is another Dracaena. I would say this is like a Dracaena white jewel. I love Dracaena plants. This one is actually very beautiful. What I love about this particular Dracaena is it is so easy to grow. Like literally they thrive in neglect. You don't have to water them nearly as often. I would say water when the soil is completely dry, give it a good soak, and that's all you need. Now those types of Dracaenas do grow at a moderate pace. Some people will say a little bit slower pace, but what's cool about it is they will get large very quickly, or not very quickly, but they will get large. They can get up to 3 to 4 feet tall. So I think that's super cool. And then we have a Leopardinia calathea right here. So, you know, most calatheas have that purple underside. This one is really more green, and you can see that the leaves almost look like feathers. I really like that a lot. And again, growing it in water is going to be a lot easier than growing them in a substrate like soil. Calatheas are just very finicky plants, and I think with calatheas it's because of the humidity levels they need, and also the water conditions. Like they don't like to be watered with just tap water. You really want to give them purified water or rainwater. And then here is a syngonium, a pink syngonium. Now with this pink syngonium, to really get that pink to come out, you want to make sure that you are giving it a lot of bright indirect light. You know, syngoniums can tolerate lower light conditions, but if you give them lower light conditions, they tend to be a little bit more leggy. So you want to make sure that you give them the best light. You know, as a rule of thumb, all plants love bright indirect light. Some that really do require full sun definitely need full sun. When you talk about a plant that is low light tolerant, that means it can be in a low light condition, but it's not going to thrive. It's not going to grow as quickly, but it will also not die. So that's just really the difference with the lighting. And I just wanted to make sure that there was some clarification when it comes to the lighting plant care tips for certain plants. This is another cool looking calathea. That's the velvety form. And then we just have a ton of different types of hydroponic bowls. Like this one is that Leopardina calathea. That's a nice one as well. Love that green calathea look. And then we want to pan out over here. We've got some more alocaceas. So my alocaceas that I bought from Proven Winners, like the well, before we look at the alocacia, let's take a look at this calathea or orbifolia. I had one of these. It looked beautiful like this, and then like I didn't water it, and it got worse because it started to crisp up, and then I still didn't water it, and it ended up just crisping up and dying. So for me, I will not grow calatheas in like soil substrates. I would definitely just grow them hydroponically, just because it has become a lot easier for the way my care routines have gone around. Again, it's about having time to invest in your plants for the plant care tips. Like that's the thing. I am pretty sad about it, in the fact that some of my plants I've really just neglected, and what happens with neglect is some of them really are hard to rehab back to where it's like you might as well just start over with another plant. I don't really want to do that because it was my fault. So like I want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to like rehab some of my plants. They just haven't done as well. So like plant foliage, just let me know in the comments if you've ever just neglected plants or just gotten really busy with life in general. I've seen a lot of people who used to have like hundreds of plants on like YouTube, and then eventually they start to downsize their plants and really just keep the plants that bring them joy. I have thought about that as well, and actually it's probably going to be better for me if I did that. But whenever you are at a big box store every single day doing these plant videos, it is a bit of a challenge. I mean, I like the process, but that is kind of like the pros and cons about just looking at plants every day. Now this one is an Alocasia cuculata. Again, really like this a lot. This is for $29.98 at Home Depot. So Proven Winners has actually released a lot of these Alocasias. I love the look of the Alocasias. I think, you know, if Alocasias were just less finicky in terms of just the plants when you're growing them indoors, I think more people would really take heed in like actually take care of alocasias. A lot of people who have grown plants will say that alocasias don't like them. I am one of them where like alocasias don't like me. There have been a couple of alocasias that have done very well for me, but that's because I have grown them outdoors. So maybe if you are struggling with a particular plant, it's probably just best to like try to grow them outdoors in a shaded patio area. I know that a lot of my philodendron, for instance, have done very well, have grown very quickly actually outdoors. So that's something that I would, suggest. Like I am growing some of my philodendron pink princess, a couple of my other philodendrons outside, and they're starting to really size up. So I love that. Over here is a Ficus elastica burgundy. Or not burgundy, ruby. I really like the ruby just because look at how beautiful that red tone is on the leaves. I love the variegation of this particular plant. It is a work of art. Now this plant right here needs a lot of bright light. I actually grow mine outside in full sun. It doesn't burn for me. It's actually growing a lot faster growing in full sun. So I just really like the look of this particular plant. This one is also for $29.98. I would suggest buying them at Trader Joe's because you can buy the same size plant, maybe even larger, for $12.99. So as we do these plant shopping videos, we can kind of compare and contrast plant pricing. I mean, you can see right over here, this is another philodendron. I love this philodendron. This is a philodendron mayoi, and my philodendron mayoi is doing so well. I actually repotted it in a 12-inch planter, and it has gotten really large. I need to probably get a pole for it at some point so it can really establish on a moss pole to get larger leaves, but you can see this is the new leaf that has unfurled. What I like about the philodendron mayoi is that it is just a simple green plant, but I love how it has a natural shine to it, and I love how the leaves have really started to fenestrate and just change its like leaf shape as it matures. I would love to see like a super mature philodendron mayoi. I also have a baby one that has started to really change its leaf shape, so that's something that I will feature. And I talked about showing some of my personal plant collections. Truthfully, it's because I haven't had a chance to really get my house set up. I talk about plant aesthetics and styling, but I want to make sure my house is actually styled and cleaned up before I do a home tour. But anyhow, this is a beautiful Ficus benjamina. This is a variegated version. Ficus benjamina, when you let them grow, they can become full-blown trees. Sometimes they'll braid several Ficus benjamina, and then they'll create like a full trunk because they'll fuse. And over here is a Ficus Audrey. I love this as well. I have one that I have really neglected, but now it's outside, so it's growing some new growth. I am going to prune it back to see if I can encourage new growth and actually repot it in a larger pot. I have definitely been a bad plant parent, but it is a full-blown tree. I remember buying it for $5 at Walmart at this size, and now it is about 2.5 to 3 feet tall. So it has really sized up in the last 2 years. And here is another hydroponic calathea right over here. Look at the beautiful purple undersides of it. That's another plant that really does well in hydroponics. And then we have a Rojo Congo philodendron, another Rojo Congo philodendron right here, and some really cool philodendron ring of fires. And these are all for $29.95. Really nice looking variegation on it. Philodendron ring of fires have become readily available in the market. I have gotten some on sale for $7 at Walmart. I happened to just walk in on a day where the plant vendor was clearancing out plants. I went ahead and bought a couple. I do intend to grow it on a moss pole, so like maybe planting 3 of these philodendron ring of fires together. I think that would be an awesome way to really display them, so I can get like a really full plant. But you can see here, beautiful variegation. I love the philodendron ring of fire. I mean, look at this. They've got some white variegation, yellow variegation. This one has gotten some really good variegation. Now, I did see that as the philodendron ring of fire does mature, some of its variegation is not nearly as pronounced. So I'm not 100% sure if it's the natural genetics of the plant that influences variegation, or is it really influenced by light, because there are 2 different types of influences for variegation. So plant foldies, if you're an expert on that or aware of it, please leave that in the comments. I really want to know and learn from y'all. I know that you guys have been so kind to say that you've learned a lot from me just from some of my plant insights, but I will also say that I've learned a lot from y'all just interacting with you guys on the chat sessions or even on the comment section. So feel free to kind of give you your insights. I really love that. And as I walk over here, we've got a bunch of large Majesty palms, some more large indoor plants. Like this one right here is a beautiful Ficus lyrata or fiddle fig leaf. Mine has been doing very well. And I think it's because I finally figured out the care tips for it, and it is all about consistency. When I say consistency, fiddle fig leaf definitely needs to be in a bright area. When you bring it home, especially if it's a large fiddle fig like this, there is a potential for it to drop its leaves. That's natural just because it's acclimating to the space. But once you've found a spot that has a lot of light, you really need to give it a lot of light. Leave it alone because fiddle fig leaves don't like to be moved around. I will show you this beautiful alocasia. This is an alocasia that can get really large. This is an alocasia regal shield for $29.98. So it's about $30, but look at how large the alocasia is. Now, I would love to be able to grow such a large alocasia indoors, but I just feel like it would be such a spider mite magnet. I think the only way to really repel them from having spider mites is to spray it maybe weekly with a neem oil spray. So a lot of my plants are sprayed weekly with a neem oil spray. What I'll do now is take some of my plants and actually water them in the shower. Take my shower hose and just water them down, water the leaves, water the undersides of the leaves, and then let it sit there for a minute, and then take my DIY neem oil spray that I call the Plant Foldy Mist. It's a combination of rubbing alcohol, hydrogen peroxide, a drop of dishwasher soap, and neem oil and cold pressed neem oil, and it's done very well for me. It's very inexpensive pest control, and it's worked a lot for me. It's done very well. But you can see we have some Monstera Deliciosas right here, a ton of Monstera Deliciosas. I'm actually glad that I got my Monstera Deliciosas repotted because I want to really grow them to be a large size. I had one Monstera Deliciosa a couple years back that was really getting large, but unfortunately I had a mealy bug infestation that I just could not control. No matter how many times I sprayed it with like insecticidal soap, it just wouldn't kill it. So I had to let it go. But there was a propagation that I took from that Monstera, and it has really survived my neglect. I've literally grown it in my garage under a grow light, and I finally just let it out, and it's doing very well. It's already pushing out a new leaf. And you know, this is not a grow folds video unless I show you all the Aglaonema red siam. So I love Aglaonema red siams. These are beautiful plants. This one is for $19.98 by Nature's Way. I love Aglaonema red siam just because it's an easy to care for plant. Aglaonemas are easy to care for. They don't really like to be watered as often. They can tolerate lower light conditions. Although the more bright and direct light you get, the better the coloration will be. They just come in so many different shapes, colors, and varieties. I really like that. It is unfortunate that in the United States we don't have nearly as big of a selection as some of the Aglaonemas you will see in Thailand and Indonesia. They just have some amazing varieties. Aglaonema Crown of Siam and an Aglaonema Lotus Delight are two of my favorite Aglaonemas. If you get a chance, do a Google search and you'll see why, but they are still quite expensive. And then you can see right here, we've got some Dracaenas and Yuccas. Over here, I believe that is a Dracaena Riki, and then we have another type of Aglaonema here. I'm not 100% sure what the plant ID is because these Aglaonemas are very similar looking. It could be an Aglaonema Valentine or something of that nature, but needless to say, it is a beautiful Aglaonema. I love the pink color. Pink plants are the best. Pink plants for the win. And let me know in the comments or give me a like if you like pink plants. And then this one is for $19.98. This is a Calathea mosaica or the network Calathea. I like the look of this as well. Look at how beautiful the green network or the cable it looks like. Now, I'm not as interested on this Calathea as I am with other Calatheas. I do think it's a cool looking Calathea, but I'd rather get one with like rounder leaves than just the leaf shape. And over here, we've got a beautiful Ficus elastica burgundy. Love the deep color, that black color, and then just the new leaves that unfurl has that red look on it. And then this is an Aglaonema I actually want to get because the other one I bought has gotten super leggy. This is for $29.98. I don't know what this Aglaonema plant ID is, so if you know the plant ID for this particular Aglaonema, that would be please leave that in the comments. But notice how this particular leaf has like a half moon variegation where it's got like an Aglaonema Silver Bay plus whatever this Aglaonema is. It's a beautiful plant. I love that it's got that silver gray tone about it. Now the green versions of Aglaonema aglaonemas tend to be a little bit more vigorous in growth. Now, I will say aglaonemas in general are slow growers. They take quite a bit to grow, but again, it's one of those plants that are easy to care for. I will say they can get leggy if you neglect them, if you underwater them, overwater them. So that's really the only drawback. But what makes them easy is they tend to like to be on the drier side, and they can tolerate lower light conditions. And as I pan away at this Home Depot, you can see that they have such large plants here. So I'm going to walk over here, Plant Foldies, and show you the beautiful jungle full of cordyline Hawaiian tea plants. Look at how beautiful that pink, maroon, magenta look is on this plant. And this one is for, I believe, let's take a look at the price, $59.98. You can see that the bottom part of this particular plant has gotten woody, so it's a little bit of an older plant, but look at how large the sizes are on this. Look at how beautiful that pink color is. I love this particular cordyline plant, and while it might be considered a common plant, I think it's super cool, and the fact that it's already got woody branches means that it has been established. I would love a large form of that. I really wish I could grow those indoors. People have attempted to grow these indoors, cordyline tea plants, but the problem is they are spider mite prone once grown indoors. So you just have to either be on top of your neem oil spray or just keep a lot of humidity to really repel spider plants. But as you can see here, I am normally not attracted to Majesty palms, but this Majesty palm looks super healthy. And let's see right here, I like the leaves of this one for some reason. And then right over here we've got a Dracaena mesangiana. So Dracaena mesangiana is basically a Dracaena cane. Like they've chopped the top of the Dracaena off, and it has pushed different shoots of Dracaenas. Really like that a lot. And when you look at the Dracaena mesangiana, right next to the cordyline Hawaiian tea plant, really nice contrast. And I just love how greens and pinks and different colors of plants really complement each other. Again, aglaonemas, and that's the reason why with aglaonemas I don't have to worry so much about whether I can find a large size. They are readily available. I just wish I had a little bit more space in my home. My front patio is a disaster because it is literally flooded with so many coleus plants. I actually bought some more coleus plants today. They were on clearance for $2.50, so I had to pick up a couple more. I mean, you already know when you have a plant addiction, it's like you want to stop yourself from buying plants, but you just can't seem to do so. And then over here we've got an Alocasia California right here. This one has several little pups or little babies growing, so it's got a bunch of corms that actually sprouted. That's super cool. So you get several plants for the price of one. And then this one hidden in the here is a lantana. This one is for $12.98. So basically this is a container plant, or what you could do is just drop it in a container and you have a container of lantana. I'm so excited to share that the lantana that I planted a couple weeks back have started to really establish, have started to really push out blooms, have started to mound and spread. So I am excited to see what they look like at the end of the summer. And the fact that they are perennials for me in grow zone 8B, that's where I'm at. I am just really excited that I can get something to establish in my landscape. And then over here, you got another Alocasia California here. Even though this is a green variety, it's still beautiful. I wish I could grow those indoors, but again, I have better luck growing Alocasias outdoors just because they're not as spider mite prone. And for some reason, their growth is a lot faster as well when you're growing them indoors. But as I pan away, you can see we've got a lot of Sansevieria or snake plants. And then we have got a Pachira aquatica. So Pachira aquatica, you often see them in braided forms, but I am actually thinking about just getting one that is a stump rather than the braided forms. I'm not a fan of the braided form. This one is only for $24.98, which is not a bad price at all. So, big box store plant shopping. If you go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, you will find some really good plant pricing. It's just a matter of finding the healthy plant. And as you can see right over here, we've got a bunch of Sansevieria trifasciatas. Really like that as well. People market snake plants as an easy to care for plant. They can be until you overwater them. And then here is a hanging basket of Monstera Adansonia for $19.98. Monstera Adansonia haven't done well for me for some reason. I just haven't been able to grow them long term. But this one is a nice full basket of them, and they are so easy to propagate as well. I do like that it fenestrates like that. And then we've got some simple but elegant looking Aglonema Silver Bay. These are for $14.98. They are also known as a Chinese evergreen. These plants can tolerate lower light conditions. You know, Aglonema Silver Bay can get very large as well, so that's exciting. They're just very slow to grow, and I really think that that's the reason why I have less interest in aglonemas, because I like to see plants as they develop. I like to see plants as they grow up quickly, and you know, aglonemas are just a little bit slow at that. Here is for $14.98, a Dracaena Steed Soul. What I like about the Dracaena Steed Soul is the bottom leaves tend to be darker, and then the new growth has like higher variegation. So I like that contrast that the leaf has. Again, this is an easy to care for plant. You can see that they've cut the top of it off and 2 new offshoots have shown. Really nice plant, especially for lower light conditions. I would recommend it. I would recommend Dracaenas. You know, people really aren't running to stores to go buy a Dracaena. I mean, oftentimes people will look for that rare philodendron or some type of aroid, but there are some plants that can really give you guys some joy. I will show you this right here. This is an Epipremnum aureum golden pothos. Love that as well. It's got a nice color about it, and it is an easy to care for plant. Like, this is a plant you can neglect and it will still do very well. And then we've got some alocasias right here. This is an Alocasia amazonica. This one is in another almost like a terracotta planter, so I think that's really cool. Alocasia amazonica looks like poly. I don't know if they're really the same alocasia, but you can see that it's got the darker purple undertones about it. Unfortunately, this particular alocasia tends to be a little bit more spider mite prone. It is a spider mite magnet, so I tend to stay away from that particular alocasia. And I'm just going to lift this up here. Another beautiful Dracaena. I'm almost tempted to buy this for $14.98. I am starting to collect more Dracaenas, so I just recently added another one. I added a Dracaena Kanzi Dragon, which is really cool. I do intend to repot it in a 6.5-inch planter. Right now it's sitting in a 4-inch planter. So that's the thing about repotting plants. You want to make sure you're not going too large of an upsize. And over here we've got a Hydra Helix, or what I would call, the correct way to say it is Hedera Helix, or English Ivy. This one is for $8.98 by Nature's Way. Again, this is a plant that does better being grown outdoors as a ground cover versus being an indoor plant inside. It just tends to get spider mites. And then over here for $9.98 by Vigoro Plants, this is a beautiful caladium. So caladiums have been really popping up everywhere. I love the look of caladiums just because they're so colorful. And a couple of plant folies have actually messaged me and left comments about how they're growing caladiums indoors. That is super exciting. You know, as a matter of fact, I might actually look on Etsy to see if I can buy some rare pink caladium bulbs. There's a couple of Thai hybrids that I want to see about growing, and the fact that, you know, caladium bulbs are easy to grow, especially when you have hotter conditions. They need that heat to really wake them up and have them sprout. So that's one thing I want to do. But as I pan over here, you can see there's just a lot of plants. This is the indoor section, or the indoor house plant section, but you can see as I pan over how many plants this Home Depot has. I will say I'm fairly satisfied with the amount of plants that they always carry at this Home Depot. This is probably one of the closest Home Depots that is near to where I am based at. And it's a Home Depot that I will often visit just because they are constantly getting new plants. And you can see here lots of proven winter plants. Like this one is a Tradescanthia Feeling Flirty. Love this plant. I love the pink. I love how it's a little bit more compact as well. And I just love that delicate looking color of like pinks, lavenders, lilac. It's beautiful. And then over here we've got another variegated Ficus benjamina right here for $19.98. So proven winners. Hands down, I would say proven winners like Costa Farms. I'm so thankful that they have provided us with many different plants that are not as readily available in the past. Now, a lot of these plants are easily accessible. And can we say these are so cute? These little spider plants, like I need to buy a spider plant. This is only for $12.98. Not a bad price at all for a spider plant. And it is a plant that I truly enjoy. I would like to add in my collection. I just want to find one that doesn't have browning on its tips of its leaves. I am a little bit more of a perfectionist when it comes to more like narrow strap type leaves, like this one right here. Look at that. But look at how beautiful it is. And you know, it's got several different spider plants in one hanging basket. Let me know in the comments if I should buy this one for $12.98. But, you know, spider plants, let me know what your care tips are. How well have spider plants well done for you? I've heard that it is an easy to care for plant. I would recommend it also for beginners. And so if you are a new plant you know, grower, somebody who's starting to just grow plants indoors, feel free to leave questions in the comment section. I respond to every single question that you guys will mention. And if you have Instagram, feel free to message me directly on Instagram as well. Comment on my reels. I, again, love all the engagement. And then over here, we've got a Tradescantia Sabrina or a Tradescantia Burgundy. Now you can notice that this one has gotten a little bit leggy. And what I would do is I would just cut it back to where it's leggy. And then you can even take the cut and stick it in water, propagate it, and then plant it back into the mother plant just so you can get it to be a little bit more full. I tend to do that with my Epipremnum aureum or pothos plants and just plants in general. I've been doing that with my coleus plants as well. And I tell you, my coleus plants that I have propagated, I mean, I am literally producing them by the week. And then this is a cast iron plant for $15.98. So I'm not really familiar with cast iron plants. I know some of you guys have really said you love cast iron plants. I don't really know the allure about the cast iron plant or even the plant care tips. So I would love to know if you love cast iron plant, what is it about the cast iron plant that you like? The price is not bad at all for $15.98. Leave that in the comments. Some people have said that it's actually been a little bit of a challenging plant to find in a big box store. And then right over here, we've got tons of fiddle fig leaves, aglaonemas, more fiddle fig leaves, Pachira aquatica, and this ocean of pink. Love this cordyline Hawaiian tea plant. It just brings me so much joy to see like really stark neon pink colors. I love that as well. I just love pink plants. So I would like to do a feature of just pink plants. I just find them so satisfying to look at. There's something about it, as well as like variegated plants. But then again, I also love just green plants too. So my love for plants really transcends what type of plant it is. As long as it's a plant that can bring me joy, I am all about it. And notice how this plant right here, this cordyline Hawaiian tea plant, has really matured. So what they did is to encourage more shoots, they just hacked it, and then at least two shoots would come out, which made this plant a little bit more full. You can continue to do that. You can cut the top off of this plant and actually propagate it. So my grandmother, who is responsible for all of my plant obsessions and my plant interests, because as a kid, she taught me a lot about plants. I really do think I took after her in terms of my interest for plants and even my plant obsessions, but she does grow cordyline tea plants. I really like that a lot. And look at how woody this particular one is. So I typically don't see woody Hawaiian tea plants, but that is really cool. These are, I believe, are for like $19. I'm close to $20. I would consider buying a large one maybe later down the season. But as I think about some of the plants that I'm growing in my patios and my backyard, I am just wondering, what am I going to do when when winter comes? Do I have enough space in my plant room at the front? Or do I just grow them in the garage? I overwintered a lot of my plants actually in the garage, and it was all right. And then over here, we got another caladium for $19.98. Look at the speckling on this particular caladium. Now, a plant foldy by the name of Daniel actually told me that he did his research, and it's actually best to cut back your caladiums during the winter so they have some dormancy period, but they will come back obviously in the spring or late spring. I want to see about trying to grow a caladium indoors, but my only thing is, for a caladium, would it be spider mite prone? I always feel like these types of plants really need to be grown outdoors. But then again, I've been looking at a lot of ground covers that are supposed to be growing outdoors as maybe growing as a trailing plant indoors. So we'll see. But I wanted to show you all of the different varieties of caladiums they have. Again, these are by Vigoro Plants. Super cute. Look at how beautiful the colors are. And it's so interesting that caladiums have so many different patterns and colors and varieties. And for the most part, they're very easy to care for plants. They definitely cannot take full sun. They need to be in the shade. Other than that, they're pretty carefree. And I like that. And they will continue to grow year after year because they are considered a perennial. And as I pan over here, you can see we've got some dahlias, we've got some caladiums, and we've got my favorite. So we've got some type of Kong coleus. So these are the large leaf coleus. coleus plants. This is for $16.68. Really like the look of this one again. And, you know, with coleus plants, the more you trim it back, the bushier it's going to be. This particular coleus is a Kong coleus, which means it's got the larger leaves right here. But look at all of the color on the leaves. For some people, coleus are definitely not going to be their cup of tea. For me, it is definitely a cup of tea and more. I love coleus plants, and the reason why I do love them is because they're inexpensive. So when you talk about growing a house plant collection or a plant collection, inexpensive plants are great. Vigorous growing plants are great. Potential propagation for plants are great, and coleus plants check all those boxes. The only disadvantage about coleus is with the Texas summers being 100+ degree weather, I will have to water them quite frequently, maybe 2 times a day or 3. We'll see, but they are thirsty plants. Now, this is a caladium I absolutely love, and what I love about this caladium is, do you see that red veining on it? It is absolutely stunning, and I love it. It is another plant that I will grow in a container eventually. I have 3 caladiums growing in a container right now, and they're doing very well. Some of them got a little bit of leaf burn because they do face a south-facing side, so I put them in more of a darker corner of my patio, and they've been protected from the hot afternoon sun. But you can see here another caladium container. So that's the thing about Home Depot. Home Depot has really nice containers of plants. If you're ever going to go indoor or outdoor plant shopping for plants, I would recommend Home Depot. They have some fair pricing. You'll see more proven winter plants versus like Costa Farms plants, but needless to say, when it comes to their outdoor section, they've got quite a bit of plants to choose from. I like looking at their outdoor section just because I can find some of these plants that I would consider growing even indoors. I did want to take a little bit of time to talk about some of these pots. So these planters are just terracotta planters, and what I would say with terracotta planters is I love them because they are a classic look. I love the color of it, but this is particularly the type of terracotta pot that I would use. I like how it's simple. I like that it doesn't have a lip on it. I like that it's just a plain but simple matte terracotta pot. I think it's absolutely stunning. And with terracotta pots, like here's a smaller one. I have tons of these pots. The terracotta pots are better for people who overwater plants because terracotta pots actually get rid of moisture. They don't hold moisture as much. Now, if you have plastic planters, then those will actually hold and keep the soil a bit wet versus a terracotta pot where it will actually get rid of the moisture a little bit faster. So it really depends on how you water your plants or what type of plants they are. I would say for plants that require less water, I would just do terracotta pots. Those would really do well. And then you can see over here, we've got a gardenia type tree. That's really cool. And some Acer palmatum or Japanese maples. These are the Crimson Queens. Now, I love Japanese maples as well. And I probably need to do more features on Japanese maples. And as you can tell, if you've watched a lot of my videos on a daily basis, you will know that I have several interests of plants. Like this has been a plant that I've been interested in. This is a copper leaf plant. It does get a little bit variegated. And the 2 copper leaf plants I've gotten have been doing very well in their 6-inch planters. And then as I pan over here, you can see we've got a bunch of lantanas available in containers. Lantanas are super easy. I would recommend growing them in a landscape. They do very well in very hot conditions. So for those that live out in the south and we get that hot weather, lantanas can take full sun. They prefer to be in full sun, and I would recommend it like that. Yellow color is really nice. And then plant foldies. Look at how cute these little succulent containers are. Like this is a truck. This little succulent arrangement is really cute. And we've got several different types of cactus and succulent. So let me just pull this one out right over here. I like the shape and look of it. The texture is really cool. And you see how the new growth is a different texture. I don't know so much about cactus and succulents, but what I do know is the ones that I'm interested in, I am definitely wanting to take care of. I've got a couple of succulents in my collection. Now with succulents, you just have to make sure you're not overwatering them, that you're providing them with a lot of light. And then you can see right here, this is in the middle. This is a Rodeo oyster plant with a bunch of succulents. I feel like the Rodeo oyster plant tends to be more succulent, you know, in character. So that's cool. And then this is like a succulent cage. I think that's kind of a cool concept of how to hang a hanging basket. So there are certain plant nurseries that really do a really good job on like planters and just the way they display it. I would say Smart Plants does very well. Live Trends is probably the best at doing that. They have such cool planters, but you can see these are mixed planters of like euphorbias, different types of succulents. I am all about it, and it's a pretty fair price. That's one for $99, but you get so many plants in one. And these are plants that definitely need to get a lot of sun, and you don't have to water them as often, so that tends to make it more like a easy to care for plant. But as I walk over here, it has become a little bit cloudy, and that's the thing we've been having, just really unstable weather in North Dallas. But that doesn't stop me from doing plant shopping videos. So this is one of my favorite succulents. This is a Kalanchoe Chocolate Soldier. Really like the look of that, you know, that Kalanchoe, and it is one that's readily available. And then this one is a Kalanchoe Teddy Bear. I like that as well. Notice that it's got a little bit more fuzzy this about the leaves, and then also it's a little bit more brown, so I like that. And as I pan over here, plant foldies, you can see we've got a variety of different types of hanging baskets of succulents. We've got you know, grafted succulents right over here. Let's go take a look at this. Yeah, this is a pretty cool grafted succulent. So that was grafted onto the succulent, and it's a really cool looking color as well. So as far as succulents are concerned, or cactus, I don't really grow a lot of them. I have one prickly pear cactus that's growing on the side of my house, and it's been doing very well. And then over here we have some ground cover. So we talk about ground cover. This is a variegated ajuga plant for $3.98. That's actually a really good price. Look at that cream variegation, and this can actually get more like pinks and purples. I like this a lot. I have been growing these in containers. I have 2 of them growing in containers, and they have started to trail. So I'm thinking I can try to grow these indoors. I mean, they have a good range of lighting requirements or conditions they can grow. They can grow in shade, or I've been growing mine in full sun and it has not burned. So we'll see. But this is just a regular ajuga plant. This is the bronze one. I like it as well, but I definitely like the variegated version. I just like that cream and pink and lavender variegation, and these are inexpensive plants. So when you think about certain plants becoming house plants, like ground covers are really good for trailing plants. Like even right over here, we've got a creeping Jenny right here for $6.98 by Proven Winners. That's pretty cool right there. I love that neon yellow variegation, or that coloration. And then as I pan over these lantanas, we've got a ton of different types of flowers. These are all annual. And I am a flower person as well. I love marigolds. Marigolds are actually the first type of flowering plants that I have ever grown from seed. And then we've got a bunch of wax begonias here. My hanging basket of wax begonia that I got on clearance for $5 is doing amazing. And I just really like the look of wax begonias. The flowers are amazing. And then just this whole Home Depot is super full. So plant foldies, let me know if your Home Depot is as full as mine out in North Dallas, out in McKinney. I'd really like to know, because it's interesting how everybody's big box stores are different. I happen to be very fortunate to be living in the Dallas-Fort Worth area because there's so many plant places to choose from. And you can see right here, we've got a bunch of zinnias. I love zinnias. Look at the different colors here. Love that red. I love that yellow, and I love that orange. So those are all warm colors to warm up a space in your landscape. And then as I pan over here, so I have actually been thinking about getting this ground cover as well. This dark foliage plant is another ajuga plant. This one is for $5.98 by Vigoro. It would be one that I would definitely grow in a container, but we'll see. But this is one that I almost bought today because I've told myself I wanted to get it. This is a Asiatic jasmine tricolor, so it's a variegated Asiatic jasmine. Look at how beautiful the variegation is. Look at how it is starting to trail. I would think this would be a plant that's really easy. So I'm going to do a little bit of research on YouTube for like the plant care tips, unless you know specifically the plant care tips for this plant. I like the look of it as well. It is an easy to look at, I wouldn't say easy to care for plant because I don't know the plant care tips, but it would be one that I would try to grow indoors as a trailing plant. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you like the variegation, if you like the coloration. I love it, and it looks like a plant that if you sun stress it, you'll get more pinks and cream variegation. So I'm just curious, and I may end up buying that next time. And then over here we've got another Hydra Helix. I love some Hydra Helix for $5.98. And let's see, we're gonna walk over here and see what else we have. So I find these plants really interesting. This is some type of ornamental grass right here. Look at that, it looks super cool. It's got a different pattern right over here, and that is the name of the ornamental grass. Really like that a lot. It's got a different texture to the leaves, and also the coloration is really cool. I'm gonna pan over here and see what else we've got. Now we've just got the regular Asiatic jasmine. This is for $7.98. Not bad at all because it's already trailing. I might end up just buying the green one as well, but notice how the green one versus the variegated one. Like plant folies, let me know which one you would prefer. I actually like both, and I would choose both, but I like that this is it looks like it's going to be a vigorous grower as well. And it would be a good ground cover. I just don't know if it would be one that would survive my grow zone. So we'll see. But as I walk over to the this corner of the outdoor section, this is going to be more of the outdoor tropical landscaping plants. So we've got a bunch of mandevilla flowers on trellises. They are literally everywhere. And then as I walk over here, look at how massive this cordyline tea plant is, the kiwi version. That is so beautiful. I've seen this a lot. This container of variegated cordyline kiwi plant right here, cordyline tea plant, is actually $99, but that is such a huge plant, and look at how beautiful and full it is. It's not leggy at all. It is a full-blown bush with all that different colors, and then right underneath it, it has some ground cover here. I really like this variegation. If somebody can give me the plant ID for this particular plant, I would buy this as well as another plant to grow indoors or grow as like a trailing plant, as a house plant. So we'll see. You know, I am trying to experiment with some other plants that you normally wouldn't see. You know, a lot of people are all about plants like typically like philodendrons or any aeroids, but for me, I am all about the different plants that we would just have readily available, whether it's like the outdoor section or the indoor section. But I definitely love the variegation of this ground cover. I don't know the plant ID for this, but if you do, please leave that in the comments under a timestamp. I would really like to know. And then we have some Zora plants right here, flowering plants. Really like that as well. This is more of a tropical plant that really needs a lot of light. And speaking of a lot of light, that is a Croton Petra right over here. Gotta love the crotons. Crotons have so many varieties of different types of colors. Now, croton coloration is really influenced by the amount of light it gets. So if you can grow it in full sun, it will give you the best light, you know, like colors from the light. So just FYI on that. I have seen that firsthand. And then we've got a bunch of conifer plants right over here. This is a blue Atlas cedar. I would love to be able to have a conifer in my my yard, just so it can fit my Japanese garden aesthetics. And you can see we've got some more conifers and pines right over here. We've got a bunch of boxwood and shrubs right over here. So we're just gonna keep walking around and see what else we can find. And over here, we've got some crepe myrtles, the dark foliage. So these have just recently come out over the years, but I love the blooms of crepe myrtles. I have a crepe myrtle growing in my front yard. It has some beautiful lavender color to it. And, you know, crepe myrtles in the North Dallas area, everybody grows them. There's just tons of them all over. And it's a plant that definitely needs really hot weather and full sun for it to really thrive. But as I pan around here, there's just a bunch of different types of shrubs. This is a plant I have been looking at. It is a beautiful variegated oleander. This one actually needs to be in shade. I might come back and get this. This is by Southern Gardener, but look at how beautiful this variegation is. It's literally have all of its leaves variegated, and what's really cool is this blooms like a pinkish flower. So I would love to get this. Now this one does require shade, so I'm not 100% sure where I would place it, just because I don't really have a lot of shade in my backyard just yet. But it is a beautiful plant that I would love to get eventually. That variegation is absolutely stunning. And then we just have tons more of different types of shrubs and bushes to add to, you know, your landscape. So if you're into like gardening, Home Depot is definitely a place I would recommend getting your outdoor plants. They have so many varieties of plants. They are very cost effective in the plant pricing. Plant shopping is great when you go to a big box store. Like right here is another kalanchoe. Love this one. It's blooming. It's got that beautiful pink color. I love pink. I wouldn't say pink is my favorite color. I really don't have a favorite color. I'm not 100% sure, but I do like pink plants. So maybe that is my favorite color. I'm not sure. But as you can see right here, this is an interesting kalanchoe. This one is also for $5.98 by Vigoro Plants. Now, Plant Foldies, what do you think about the color of this particular flower? And you can see we've got Japanese Aralia, and you already know if I find me a coleus plant, like this is a coleus pack of, I believe, 6 or 9. And look at how neon color that coleus plant is. Those are all, you know, pretty readily available. And we have tons of lantanas. We've got a bunch of wax begonias right over here. I love the white bloom. And they just have several different types of plants that you can put in containers or in a flower bed landscape. And then I do find this interesting. I love the color of this particular polka dot plant. You'll see polka dot plants as purple. I mean, not purple, but pinks. But I do like the red one here. Like, I'm almost tempted to buy this polka dot plant for $3.98. It's a pretty good size plant. Now, I haven't had the best luck growing them, but I do like that dark foliage plant as well. Dark foliage plants are really cool. Let me know in the comments if you agree, Plant Foldies. And just know, this week I'm going to try my very best to give you guys scheduled videos. I did notice that some of my viewership went down, so I don't know if I just need to like add a little bit different content. We'll see, or maybe just YouTube hasn't always been hasn't been kind to me this week, but I am trying my very best. I did miss posting one video, so maybe that might have messed up my my timing for some of my videos getting pushed by YouTube, so we'll see. But as you can see, though, we do have a bunch of caladiums. This particular caladium I really like. I just like caladiums because they're so colorful, and the color that I predominantly see for caladiums is pink, so that's really cool. And then they have those neon varieties as well. There's just so many varieties that you can pick and choose from. Like this one right here. Some people say they're houseplants bright light. Maybe I'm gonna try to grow one indoors once I get my houseplant room set up better. I know there's a couple plants that I just need to get rid of and clean up, and we'll see. But I am excited to have shown you guys today the Home Depot and what plants they have available, like this one right here. And I am all about this caladium. Look at how large the leaves are. Plant Foldies, let me know in the comments what kind of caladiums you're growing. If you are growing caladiums, do you prefer more outdoor gardening plants or more indoor? I know that I started this channel showing you guys more indoor tropical plants. Don't worry, I will definitely do that. I'm actually planning on going to some more local plant nurseries. Even if I don't get nearly as many views, or if maybe YouTube doesn't push them, I just like to really support local plant shops as well. I do a lot of big box store plant shopping, but if you're going to ask me where I would buy most of my plants, I would still choose to buy them at a local plant nursery. And you can see over here, I am about to exit this and end this video, but this Home Depot is one of the Home Depots I enjoy, just because they do, you know, keep their stock quite full. They've got healthy plants, they've got a friendly staff, and it's readily available for me to just, you know, drive in my car, and about 5 minutes later I am here, able to film, able to share my plant thoughts. And so, Plant Foldies, you already know what you need to do. If you made it this far into the video, please, 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 I'm asking you guys, please, 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 if you hear me, please hit that like button for my videos. It's one way to really support me. It's a way to show your appreciation for me, honestly, just because I do put so much effort into my plant videos. I just need a like, and if you want to leave a comment, that'd be awesome as well. I did want to show you this. Look at how beautiful this cactus bloom is. You've got a yellow one, and then there's a white one, and then there's a red one. I almost want to just buy all 3 different cactus for the different blooms. So again, I am going to eventually get some more succulents and cactus. I think I might have killed my Aeonium kiwi by top watering it. It didn't look like it did well, so I think I might have to water it from the bottom. So something I learned. But as always, please make sure you're hitting that like button, plant foldies. I will be ending this video quite soon. This is Richie at Grow Folds, and I will definitely see you on the next video. It's going to be a local plant nursery. Stay tuned for that. But as always, I appreciate you, plant foldies. Please subscribe to my channel with the notification bell on. This is Richie at Grow Folds. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.